thank God for memories. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying? You see, you would have thrown in the towel a long time ago if it wasn't for your memories. You would have given up this race a long time ago if every now and then your memory did not minister to you and remind you where you were yesterday and where you are right now. Somebody said, I'm not where I want to be, but I ain't where I used to be. I'm not what I ought to be, but I'm not what I used to be. Thank God for memories. And God says to the children of Israel, I want you to remember your Exodus experience. Anybody in here have any Exodus experience? Anybody in here had to run out some places? Oh, you don't care. Oh, I got a holy crowd this morning. Anybody ever had to run out some places that you know you shouldn't have been here? Has anybody had to run out some clubs when they were shooting them up? Anybody had to dodge any bullets? Anybody has to dodge some AIDS, some HIV? Anybody dodge some syphilis? Have anybody had an Exodus experience? But thank God for your memory. Thank God that you're reminded that you could have been dead and laid in your grave, but God made all of your enemies behave. Thank God for your Exodus experiences. God says, I want you to remember. He invites the people to remember. Remember, he says, what I did, how I brought you through the Red Sea. I want you to remember, God says, how I delivered you from Pharaoh's army. But then he does something strange. He says in verses 16 and verses 17, remember what I did. But then in verse 18 he says, nah, forget all that. Well, what's God doing? I believe that God was saying, get in your spirit what I have done in the past and understand that what I am going to do in the days ahead is greater than anything that I've done in the past. Go down and catch that. God said, get it in your mind now. I want you to look at what I did yesterday, and everything that I'm going to do from this day forward is better than what I've already done. There's a word for somebody. God said, God's saying to somebody, remember how I worked things out? Remember how I worked things out for you last year? Remember how I opened some doors last year? Remember how I closed some doors last year? Remember how I picked you up last time? God said, whatever I did last time, if you think that was something, I'm getting ready to blow your mind up in here, up in here. God says to Washington Street Church, you remember how I brought you through some floods and through some fires? God said, you remember how I put pastors before you? God said, remember your rough spot? God said, you remember how I delivered you Washington Street? God said, you remember when you were low before? God said, if you think I did something last time, you just brace yourself, because I'm about to blow your mind with what I'm going to do in 2009. God said, I'm a God who wants to do more than I've ever done before. And you know what? I think I'm in Bible country. God says in the text, I will do a new thing. Now understand, this new thing is not some new gospel. This new thing is not some new word. In other words, what I want you to catch is that we don't serve a predictable God. We serve a God who wants to do some same things in fresh new ways. I think I'm in Bible country. It's right here in the text. He said, in the past, I made a way through the sea. This time, I'm going to make a way through the desert. Rivers in the bedland, and even the wild animals are going to say thank you. Even the wild animals are going to praise me. Can you not feel the excitement at the prospect of deliverance and how God is going to deliver? Have you not ever just got excited just knowing that God promised you something? It didn't come yet, but just knowing that God said it was going to come. Have you ever got excited at at the prospect to know that God promised that he was going to heal your body. It just can't come yet. God said he was going to work out your finances, but it just hadn't come yet. God said, I'm going to do a new thing in your life, but you can go ahead and praise me now because you can put me on the layaway plan because you know I have not yet done it. Eyes have not yet seen. Ears have not, it has not yet appeared. What I'm going to do, God said, go ahead and praise me now because if I promise, I'm good on my promises. They got excited. Can I give a word to Washington Street Church? Can I give a word to some individual who may be going through some difficult circumstances? God can bring you out. I don't care where you are. I don't care how stuck you are. I don't care what your back is against the wall. I don't care what the conditions are like. We serve a God who gets excited about tough stuff in your life. Is there any river that you think is uncrossable? Is there any mountain that you think you cannot climb? Can I tell somebody something? Our God specializes in doing the impossible. It's the impossible stuff that God gets excited about. It's the stuff that doesn't look like you can make it that God gets excited about. Are you excited about the possibilities of what God desires to do? I'm almost through. I'm going to tell you three things real quick on how you can make it through this. First of all, I want to tell you, in order for God to do a new thing in your life, you have to change your focus and quit looking at yesterday. The text clearly states, forget the former things and do not ponder or do not dwell on the past. Many churches, many individuals cannot make progress because they're always talking about what happened on yesterday. Now hear me clearly, I'm not suggesting that we forget our past. The text says don't ponder on it. The text says don't dwell there. The text says don't sit there so long that you can't do anything else. Dr. Gene Sample Jr. reminds us that history has its purpose, but history also has its place. Our forward momentum as a people can become slowed or it can become stagnant if we dwell too much on our past accomplishments.